Welcome to Defense Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Maryland judge shot to death at his Hagerstown home, police ID person of interest. Opinion: being a Muslim American right now is like living on borrowed time. Duquesne builds 31-7 halftime lead, holds off second half St. Francis, comeback, 38-35. Detroit synagogue president found murdered outside her home. NATO admiral says growing China-Russia ties raise risk in Arctic. Maryland judge shot to death at his Hagerstown home, police ID person of interest. Yahoo! A silver Mercedes GL 450 SUV belonging to Pedro Argote, the man suspected of gunning down Washington County Judge Andrew Wilkinson, was found in a wooded area of Williamsport, Maryland. The search area is being checked to ensure that Argote is no longer present. Investigators believe that the surrounding community is not at risk and are asking residents to avoid the search zone. Opinion: being a Muslim American right now is like living on borrowed time. CNN. The author of this article, Khaled Baydown, reflects on what it means to be an Arab and Muslim in America after the recent violence in Gaza and the killing of a Palestinian boy in Illinois. The author explains that Arab and Muslim Americans are constantly burdened with the need to prove their allegiance to the United States, and that their identities are often conflated with terrorism. He describes the absurdity of this situation, which feels like an existence with no exit. The author argues that this is not simply Islamophobia, but something far more onerous, as it is a constant struggle to maintain one's humanity in the face of suspicion and censorship. The author also highlights the fact that Muslims are often only portrayed as villains in the media, and are rarely seen as victims. He calls for a change in the way Arab and Muslim Americans are perceived and treated, so that they can exist without constantly having to defend their identity and prove their loyalty. Duquesne builds 31-7 halftime lead, holds off second half St. Francis, comeback, 38-35. Associated Press. Duquesne survived a comeback by St. Francis, to win 38-35 in a Northeast Conference game. St. Francis scored 3 touchdowns in the final minutes of the game to cut the deficit to 38-35. However, their last-second field goal attempt was unsuccessful. Duquesne quarterback Darius Parantes threw 3 touchdowns in the first half, and Taj Butts scored a short run for a touchdown in the fourth quarter. Duquesne remains the only undefeated team in the NEC. Detroit synagogue president found murdered outside her home. Yahoo! Samantha Wall, the president of a synagogue in Detroit, was found stabbed to death outside her home on Saturday. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel confirmed the murder and expressed shock and sadness at the news. The motive for the killing is unknown. The FBI will be assisting the Detroit police with the investigation. NATO admiral says growing China-Russia ties raise risk in Arctic. Bloomberg. NATO is concerned about China's shipping on Russia's Northern Sea route and the potential for China to use its presence in the Arctic for military purposes. Admiral Rob Bauer, chairman of NATO's military committee, stated that there are military scientists on board Chinese ships in the region. NATO is concerned about China's relationship with Russia and its intentions in the Arctic, given its close ties with Russia and cooperation in energy and transportation. China's special representative for Arctic affairs, Gao Feng, did not directly address the comments but called for cooperation in the region. Bauer also spoke about Russia's military presence in the Arctic and the need for NATO to be prepared for a conflict in the region. Dillon Gabriel throws 3 TD passes against his former team as number 6 Oklahoma holds off UCF, 31-29. Associated Press. The number 6 Oklahoma Sooners narrowly defeated the UCF Knights 31-29 on Saturday. Dillon Gabriel, who transferred from UCF to Oklahoma before the 2022 season, threw 3 touchdown passes for the Sooners. John Reese Plumlee led UCF's offense with 248 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. The Knights had a chance to tie the game with a 2-point conversion attempt in the closing minutes, but the Sooners' defense stopped them. The win keeps Oklahoma undefeated at 7-0 for the season. Harrison Jr. The difference as number 3 Ohio State beats number 7 Penn State 20-12 defensive struggle. Associated Press. Marvin Harrison played a key role in number 3 Ohio State's 20-12 defeat of number 7 Penn State. Harrison made 11 catches for 162 yards and scored a late touchdown. The Buckeyes defense also played a crucial role, smothering Drew Aller and the Nittany Lions. The win extended Ohio State's winning streak in the series to 7 games. Ohio State quarterback Devin Brown was hurt during the game, and Penn State defensive end Chop Robinson was carted off the field with an apparent head injury. Late touchdown gives Howard 27-23 win over Norfolk State in meek opener for both. Associated Press. Howard University defeated Norfolk State in a Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference opener with a final score of 27-23. Quinton Williams threw a 15-yard touchdown pass to Jarrett Hunter in the final minutes of the game to secure the win for Howard. Williams finished the game with 240 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Norfolk State quarterback Otto Kuhns had 218 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception in the game. Official says air defenses around Ukrainian capital are continually bolstered. Yahoo! A multi-level air defense system has been implemented around the Ukrainian capital city, Kyiv. The system includes mobile fire groups armed with various anti-aircraft missile systems, as well as anti-aircraft weapons systems. The anti-aircraft missile systems include the S-300, Buk, and Patriot systems, among others. The goal of the defense system is to improve the effectiveness of Kyiv's air defenses and protect the city from potential threats. However, it is noted that no air defense system can guarantee 100% security. Watson, Hennigan helped Memphis dominate second half in 45-21 win over UAB. Associated Press. Memphis defeated UAB with a score of 45-21 in a college football game. Blake Watson ran for 125 yards and had a touchdown, while Seth Hennigan threw his second touchdown pass in the third quarter. Memphis had a dominating third quarter, outgaining UAB 136 yards to 14. Despite being outgained in total yards, Memphis forced 4 turnovers and went 6 for 6 in the red zone. The victory earned Memphis the Bones Trophy, a 94-pound sculpture of a rack of ribs. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your friendly neighborhood Sixth Doctor here, bringing you the latest news from the sixth dimension. And let me tell you, it's been an eventful day in the world. We've got everything from murder mysteries to sports showdowns, and even some international tensions thrown into the mix. So, let's dive right in, shall we? First up, we have the tragic news of the murder of a Maryland judge. Andrew Wilkinson was shot to death in his own home, and police have identified a person of interest. Now, I don't know about you, but I always thought judges were supposed to be safe from harm. It's a tough job, but who knew it could be a dangerous one too? Let's hope they catch the culprit soon and bring them to justice. Next, we have an opinion piece from CNN that really hits home. Khaled A. Baydown reflects on what it means to be a Muslim American in today's world. With all the violence and prejudice directed towards Muslims, it's like living on borrowed time. It's a sad reality that Arab and Muslim Americans are constantly having to prove their loyalty and defend their identity. It's time we change the narrative and treat everyone with the respect they deserve. Moving on to sports, we've got some thrilling matchups. Duquesne managed to hold off a comeback from St. Francis, PA, to secure a victory in a Northeast Conference game. It was a nail-biter, with St. Francis scoring 3 touchdowns in the final minutes, but Duquesne managed to hang on for the win. And speaking of close games, the number 6 Oklahoma Sooners narrowly defeated the UCF Knights. It's always exciting when former teammates face off, and Dylan Gabriel certainly made his mark against his old team. It's games like these that remind us why we love sports so much. But it's not all fun and games, folks. We also have some serious international tensions to discuss. NATO is raising concerns about China's growing presence in the Arctic and its close ties with Russia. Admiral Rob Bauer warns that we need to be prepared for a conflict in the region. And let's not forget about Ukraine, where air defenses around the capital city of Kyiv have been bolstered. It's a reminder that we live in a world where security is always a concern. Last but not least, we have a murder mystery closer to home. Samantha Wall, the president of a synagogue in Detroit, was found stabbed to death outside her home. It's a shocking and tragic event, and the motive for the killing is still unknown. Let's hope the authorities can bring the perpetrator to justice and provide some closure for Samantha's loved ones. Well, folks, that's all the news we have for today. It's been quite a roller coaster ride, from murder mysteries to sports triumphs and international tensions. But remember, it's not just about the headlines. It's about the people behind the stories, their struggles, their triumphs, and their resilience. Let's keep that in mind as we navigate our way through this crazy world. Now, it's time to hear from you, my lovely audience. What are your thoughts on these stories? Do you have any burning questions or insightful comments? I'm all ears, or should I say, all eyes, as I read your comments. So, let's get the discussion going. What's on your mind? Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.